10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome to Mind 3. 211 Advanced Human Growth and Development with Dr. Jacqueline Macahis.
May due respect to Dr. Jacqueline Macahis, our educator in MAID 3 211 Advanced Human Growth and Development Learning, and to all my classmates in this subject. I am Lelani M. Dacumos, your reporter for today, hoping for your good feedback and interest in my topic. My topic for today, it's all about the development of the learners. Under of this is the principles of growth and development, and some of another topic will be tackled by my groups. Factors that influence growth and development, reporter Sir Jonathan F. Paradero, having Hertz developmental tasks during lifespan, reporter Ma'am Munaira Obregon, stages of the lifespan, reporter Ma'am Frenalyn Cañete and Sir Johnny D. Di Mayo. For no more ado, let's begin our topic for today, the principles of growth and development. Principles, growth and development. The term growth and development both refers to dynamic process often used interchangeably. These terms have different meaning. Growth and development are interdependent, interrelated process. Growth generally takes place during the first 20 years of life. Development continues after that. Growth is physical change and increase in size. It can be measured quantitatively. Indicators of growth includes height, weight, pound, size indication. Growth rates pair during different stages. Growth and development. The growth rate rapidly during prenatal, neonatal, infancy, and adolescence stages, and slow during childhood. Physical is minimal during adulthood. Development is an increased complexity and function and all skill progression. It is the capacity and skill of a person who adapt the environment. Development is the behavioral aspect of growth. Development synonymous with maturation, used to indicate an increase in skills, where the ability to function, qualitative change, and can be measured by the following. Number 1, observing child's ability to perform a specific task. Number 2, by recording the parent's description of child's progress. Number 3, by using standardized tests as Denver 2. Denver 2 test, Denver Developmental Screening Test 2. 125 easily administered developmental test item with age norm presented with convenient format. Types of development. First is the psychosexual development. So what is psychosexual development? A specific type of development that refers to developing instinct of sensual pleasure. Freud's psychosexual theory states 5 stages of human development. It is the oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. These psychosexual stages capture the main growth points of person from infancy to adulthood and focus on different facets of wants, needs, and desires. Second type is the psychosocial development. Refers to stages of personality development by Erikson. Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development include trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, identify versus rule confession, intimacy versus isolation, generativity versus stagnation, ego integrity versus despair. The third one is the moral development. is the ability to know right from wrong and to apply this to real-life situation. Kohlberg. Very young children's thinking is based on how action affected them or what the results of an action were. For example, young children will say that when trying to reach a forbidden cookie jar, breaking 10 cups is worse than breaking one. They also recognize the sanctity of rules. The last types of development is the cognitive development. It refers to the ability to learn or understand from experience, to acquire and retain knowledge, to respond to new situations, to solve problems. Measured by intelligence tests and by observing a child's ability to function effectively in his/her environment. Examples include talking with your baby in naming commonly used objects, letting your baby explore toys and move about, singing and reading to your baby, exposing your toddler to books and puzzles, expanding on your child's interest in specific learning activities, and the last is answering your child's why questions. Principles of growth and development. Growth and development are continuous process from conception until death. Growth and development proceed in an orderly sequence. Different children pass through the predictable stages at different rates. All body systems do not develop at the same rate. Development is cephalocaudal. Development proceeds from proximal to distal body parts. Development proceeds from gross to refined skills. There is an optimum time for initiation of experiences or learning. Neonatal reflexes must be lost before development can proceed. A great deal of skill and behavior is learned by practice. There are also certain universal principles of growth and development that describe how the process of growth takes place. These are the cephalocaudal principle, the proximidistal principle, and the autogenetic principle. Cephalocaudal principle. The cephalocaudal principle states that development proceeds from top to bottom. According to the principle, a child will gain physical control of the head first. After this, physical control will move downward to the arms and lastly to the legs. Imagine that you're holding a newborn. You have to carefully support the baby's head because the baby is not strong enough to support its head by itself. By the time the child is 2 months old, it develops enough strength to hold its head up on its own and to control its facial movements. Over the next few months, the baby gains control over the use of its arms. The baby can lift itself and it can reach for objects. Finally, the child learns to control leg movements and to crawl, stand, and walk. The second is the proximodistal principle. The proximodistal principle also describes the direction of development. This principle states that the development proceeds from the center of the body outward. Think of a fertilized egg. This one tiny cell divides and expands outward to become an embryo. The spinal cord forms first, and development progresses outward to become fetus. The limbs of the body form before the hands and the feet, and the hands and the feet develop before the fingers and the toes. The last is the Werners autogenetic principle. Werner adopted the biological principle of orthogenesis as a process that governs psychological development over the long term. The idea is that the direction of development is towards: number 1, increasing differentiation and specification of primitive action. Systems that were initially fused in a global organization that causes. Second is the emergence of action systems that are more differentiated and that begin segregated and develop to be more integrated over time such that. Lastly, the more advanced system, more differentiated, specified, and internally integrated, hierarchical, integrate, subordinate, and regulate the less developed systems. Thank you, and God bless us all.